Village of Weston Plan Commission meeting to order for Monday, April 14th, 2025 at 6 p.m. We are starting 20 minutes late because of the Public Works meeting that ran a little bit late. Roll call, please.
All right. Cronin.
Here.
Zagami.
Here.
Deason.
Yes.
Garrett. Give me a moment. I know he's on there, so. Hoffman.
Oh, I'm sorry, here, sorry.
Who's good? Okay, Hoffman, Jordan.
Here.
Mumper.
Here.
All right, moving right along. Public comment period. Is there anybody online or in the audience that wishes to make a comment? I have one here that was sent in, but I'm going to read it. This can go under number 5, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll read it then under number 5. Second time, anybody online or in the audience that wishes to make a comment? Which agenda item are you?
Right.
I'll let you make your comment underneath that item because it's a public hearing, so we have a spot for that there. Any other comments or questions on anything that's not agenda item number 5? I have one quick one to make. I've had a couple citizens in the community reach out and let me know that they can hear some of the side comments that are occurring between members of this body when we're sitting in meetings up here. So I'm just trying to make everybody cognizant that be careful how loud you're talking because people online can hear it. Even if it's a side conversation and you're whispering, it's audible on the videos. So just bear that in mind. All right, number 3, written communications, disclosures and recusals. Members of the body should make any required disclosures or recusals during this time. Do we have any? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 4, minutes from the March 10th, 2025 meeting.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Deason, second by Hoffman. On the question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Item number 5, public hearing, project number 2025-0100. Rezone 4803 Mesker Street from SFS, single family residential small lot, and 2F 2-family residential. I'll open the public hearing. Presentation by staff or the applicant if you'd like.
All right, so we received a request for a vacant lot on the corner of, I believe it's Janice and Mesker Street. This is a lot that there had been a previous single family home a number of years ago. There was a fire at this location. The village raised the home. The homeowner walked away from it. The village has been kind of taking care of the lot by mowing for the last, 5+ years. And it finally came up for sheriff's sale this past year. And Mr. Cleveland won the bid. And basically when I was getting calls for this property, a lot of the calls were for duplexes on this site. He is asking to rezone the property from a single family small lot to the 2-family residential. Some of the reasons that I got the calls, if you kind of go to that map that's out there. So basically this is in an area of the village where we've got a lot of different land uses going on. You've got Old Castle glass. That's the purple. So that is going to be LI, which is an industrial. We've got some 2F properties down the street. And then you've got the single family neighborhood. So a little history about this site is that the majority of the homes around it were actually part of Hoffer's first edition is what it was called, Hoffer's Glass. So basically back in whatever day, they actually created the subdivisions around it for their workers. So this area has kind of been a transition area. Like I said, we've got the duplexes there. Typically, if this was going to be planned out now, in a perfect world, we would have had multifamily or the 2F kind of along and transition into the neighborhood. So it's one of those areas where it's kind of on the fringe. So if you go further in on the document that I provided for you, on the future land use map, it's shown as low-density village residential. And the implementation, typical implementing zoning districts for this can include the 2F and possibly MF at the village's discretion. So that's some of why we're bringing it to you. This could be stay single family, or it could transition into that multifamily or the 2F, I guess, duplex more so. So he's asking to rezone it to allow for a new duplex to be built on the property.
Okay.
So I don't know if he wants to say anything.
Yeah, I can say
Further.
something.
Yeah, go for it.
Luke
Yeah, please. And if you could state your name and address for the record.
Cleveland, 5009 Mesker Street, so I live just a block south. I've been familiar with the lot for a long time. It's been sitting vacant. I found out the history behind it. Originally, I was asking about it, inquiring about it, because it was behind in taxes, like over $60,000. And there was no plan in selling it at that time. I know Marathon County was behind, and now they caught up and they put it for sale. I put an offer in once I spoke with the planning commission about the option of rezoning to two-family with the tendency of owner occupying. So I currently live in a duplex, and I live on one side with my family, rent out the other. Want to do the same thing, but just on a little bit bigger scale. It's gonna be a premium property, well taken care of. And I think it brings something more to the area. I think a lot of them are pretty run down in that area. Want something that's gonna be a little more upscale. It's gonna be, bring something more to it. That's really all I have to say.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, lost my place here. Okay, so public comments. Do we have anybody online or in the audience that wishes to make a comment? I do have one that was sent into, looks like Valerie here, that I'm gonna read. It says, "Greetings, Miss Parker. My wife and I own and occupy the property at 4713 Mesker Street in Weston and have lived there since October of 2003. Due to prior commitments, neither of us is able to attend the public hearing on April 14th, 2025. We are writing to express our strong preference that the property at 4803 Mesker Street not be rezoned from a single-family residential zoning district to a two-family residential zoning district. All of the other lots surrounding it are single-family. We are concerned that the proposed zoning change would lower property values in the neighborhood, and we do not want that to happen. It is not fair to the neighborhood for one person's business proposition to needlessly harm the property values of the many homes in the immediate vicinity. Thank you for providing us the opportunity to speak to this matter. Sincerely, Dan and Sue McDonald, 4713 Mesker Street in Weston." Any other public comments? All right, hearing none, I'm going to close the hearing. I assume it looks like recommendation is to approve, correct?
It is consistent with the future land use map, so I don't see an issue with it, but it is ultimately the decision of the plan commission.
Okay.
My comments would be that this lot's been a disaster in the village for a long time. Drive past it twice a day, every day.
Yeah,
And I'm very happy to see it be redeveloped. I'm appreciative of that. I think it's been, not only that, it's an economic drain on the village.
right.
Not just because of the maintenance, but through the lost taxes that we haven't been able to receive. And I don't know how many, I am respectful of where that other homeowner is. They're just two houses away across the street there. But I also will say that I don't know how many houses down on that same street. On the other side, there are multiple duplexes all the way down.
Everything south of.
I think, yeah, I was gonna say, are any of them
Colleen.
even single family? I don't even know if any of them are.
No, they're all, you can kind of see it on,
Start there and then,
Yeah.
south they go.
All the way,
to-
yeah, all the way to the south.
Yeah.
I think, including the last one, which was recently completed on the corner.
I did.
Right? And that also is a multifamily.
Yeah, so
right?
probably,
Yeah, I don't,
it's all duplexes.
Yeah.
yeah, everything in green is.
I don't think that people have a bit to worry about for property value either. I think
I don't either. I don't either.
the property values for multifamily is probably going to be just as much, if not more than the single family.
Oh, they had to probably raise the property value because, I mean, those houses are all pushing
Yep.
plus years old.
Yeah, that's a very valid point there.
Yeah,
I mean, they have a new house in there, or new duplex.
I would agree, and not, and a vacant lot right now that's not mowed half the time. I mean, I struggle to see how this is gonna hurt property values. I think it's gonna help, actually.
I agree. Plus, you're not, this is not a situation where you've got a one duplex or you're gonna build in an entire area of single family homes. Right, we said that the
Mhm.
whole street is full of duplexes.
We're not seeing the hardship.
No.
No, I would agree.
We have to just go to the no, that's not a conditional, so we don't have to do the determination. on
Yeah,
it.
there is a determination in there that I passed out. So it's on the second page of the handout. I don't know what it is on here.
Does anybody else have any other comments they'd like to make, or would we like to? go through
My
them?
only other comment I'd make is,
What did it
in
is.
addition, it's owner occupied. I can't imagine a more favorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good point.
I would agree.
You know, at the beginning, when they come and build, was a small house at the beginning of Mesker Street in our subdivision.
Yep.
And we thought it's gonna affect the property and this and that. It didn't.
Right.
And it just blended to the neighborhood very nicely. So I don't see any difference, and I think this is just gonna work out fine.
I would agree into that too, and too, you know, part of, as municipalities develop things, you have to look at things in a different light, and that, I mean, that the traffic on that specific road, I'm sure compared to when those homes were built 40 years ago has increased
Oh, yeah.
significantly.
That's
To the
a,
point where it probably benefits more from a little bit of a different use as well, so,
right. There's a lot of traffic on that road.
yeah. All right, so we'll go through the determination. Number one, is the proposed rezoning consistent with the comprehensive plan as is required by Wisconsin statutes?
Yes,
Does the rezoning further the purpose and intent of this chapter?
Yes.
Does rezoning address any of the following that are not properly addressed on the current official zoning map? One, a mistake was made in mapping on the official zoning map that is an area is or has developed in a manner and purpose different from that for which it is mapped. If this reason is cited, it must be demonstrated that the discussed inconsistency between actual land use and designated zoning is not intended, as the village may intend to stop an undesirable land use pattern from being perpetuated. Two, factors have changed, such as the availability of new data, the presence of new roads or other infrastructure, additional development, annexation, or other zoning changes, making the subject property more appropriate for a different zoning district. Three, growth patterns or rates have changed, thereby creating the need for a rezone. Which one are we thinking?
4.
Or
Last one.
three, growth patterns?
Sorry. Yeah, I can't see it on my computer. Sorry. Yep. I don't know, unless somebody else says something else.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Three?
Yeah.
Okay. Number four, does the proposed zoning district maintain the desired consistency of land uses, land use intensities, and land use impacts as related to the surroundings of the subject property?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no more environs. I'm sad.
I took it out. I changed it.
Just kidding.
All right.
All right, so if there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Gurnt, second by Deason on the question. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much for your time. Dan, are you here for something specific?
I'm just here for the boat lunch.
The next one.
The next one? Okay, perfect. Awesome. I love it when it works that way. So item number 6, project number 20250149, site plan review for Yellow Banks Park kayak launch.
Michael. You got that parking 20 feet long. Is that enough? If somebody come there with a trailer, they won't fit there.
Yeah, so Does this
The
site plan have the
itself
ring
is
road?
17 to 18.
25.
Yeah, so the ring road, is it
Right there.
looping around? That would be where people would be able to pull off and park their trailer. Otherwise, trying to do like a Y turn or something like that with a trailer, people wouldn't be able to do it. So we put that kind of swooping circle on it so that people could, kind of park their trailers, I forget, on the outside here. So if you have a trailer, you just park here, take your kayak off and go. And this would be for the normal vehicles, trucks.
They do is not if, because I have seen them.
Yep.
Usually when there is more than 2 or 3 is a trailer and a truck
Yeah.
and they haul it there and
Yep.
so.
Yeah, so like at Ross, we have the bigger stalls for that, but there it's a one-way traffic and we got kind of the, again, entry exit. This one, everyone has to try to get back out the same way, so.
So you're gonna need some signing in there and market, say a trailer and truck parking or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that.
How are you gonna
Has to
park
be.
trailers in there? Just line them up?
Yeah, you just line up, you just pull up to the one in front of you.
So what if you launch your kayak and I go on a shorter trip? And I come back and your truck is still in front of mine?
I mean, so there'd be the parking lane and the drive-through lane, so.
Okay, it would be.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
yeah.
okay.
It wouldn't be like going to, a front yard at Lambeau Field and next thing you know, you're waiting 45 minutes for the guy next to you to move so you can actually get your car off the yard. Yeah, so just that outside lane would be for the parking and the inside would still kind of be circulation.
So 24 feet is wide enough, huh?
Yeah.
Because your road is only one way because it's 12 feet in some area, well, it's outside to outside 15. But other than that is 12 feet. That's a one way.
Yeah, so it's I mean, if we want to make it wider, we can, I guess.
I think
We're
should
trying to minimize the impact to the park area.
make it to 10 feet lane at least maybe.
If you've got trailers parked in the outside lane and you've got somebody coming through there with another trailer to drop their kayak off and then go back around the park, that'd be tight to get through there.
Hopefully we have the problem, Travis, that we have a lot of business. And then a person could always put in some Y parking in this area, expand the parking lot. I mean, there's times, obviously we hope to organize some trips there. There are 2 adjacent parking lots, within the overall park, which what was keeping people from utilizing the landing, one, there wasn't a landing and fairly steep, I don't know if you're familiar with it. This is gonna be handicap accessible, so it increases the importance, obviously, that you get close to where you're launching. But in the event that there would be multiple people coming in, they could always drop their kayaks off, go to one of the other parking.
Circle around the right.
Yeah. You hate to overbuild the facilities to be used. It's like building Walmart for Christmas, the parking lot. Although Walmart's a bad example.
I have a comment that I want to make here. So, and I love this idea and I'm a big proponent for doing stuff like this. What I struggle with here is when I read this, one of the things that we're looking to try to not include is the concrete curbing or some sort of edge for the asphalt. And the reason I struggle with that is time and time again, we have business owners that come in here and we tell them that they have to put curbing on there. But I mean, we just did that with no less than 4 people that I can think of in the last year that asked that same question.
And the way
Yet here we are saying that it's okay for us to do it. I understand why that we're trying to save money. But at the same time, if we're gonna require that from somebody else and give them the reason that, well, we don't want the pavement to break off, why should we spend our tax dollars just so that we can destroy it, busting off the pavement? I struggle with that.
So with all due respect, Steve, there was just a parking lot built within the same park that has no curb concrete in it.
Was it built or was it just repaved?
It was built within the last 2 years.
We paved it, they paved the existing gravel. If you wanna get to that, it wasn't built to. Anywho, I have no problem putting the curb in, I think we can make it work within,
I think you protect the pavement,
yeah.
because those vehicles are gonna drive at the edge of it, especially the way you got it. I think that should be 20 feet wide, so it's two-way traffic, because that's a long drive. And that should be two-way traffic. And also that curve should be a little bit wider, so they can turn here without going over the curb with the trailer.
And Dan, I appreciate you bringing that point up. My comment wasn't meant to be, I'm just trying to make a point that if we're gonna require it of people, we should be doing it ourselves. That's all.
We've gained a lot of generosity through some of the local foundations and such, so it's not, even with the total projected cost and Weston getting the 50% grant from the DNR funding, which I hate to even bring it up because it's all our tax dollars, so it's not like it's, it's not like we've got $40,000 in our pocket or $50,000 in our pocket. You hate to look at it in that light, but we got a grant from Impact 100. We got a $25,000 grant, and then $10,000 from the Parks Foundation, and then another $2,500 grant from Kiwanis. So with those funds, I'm sure that we won't run out of money for the project. And then I believe that Gary, if you're still on there, I've talked to Kurt, and I don't know if he related.
Yeah, we'll donate whatever we can. I was just gonna suggest if we, I'm trying to figure out where that is comparison to, this isn't consistent with, is this really close to the edge of the road, versus where the existing drive and park is?
No, you know where the pipeline is, Gary, just on the west side of the little creek that runs through
Oh,
there?
Yep.
We're just on the west side of the pipeline.
Okay. All right, so my question is what if we just put some mountable curb in, Michael, like we did,
Yeah, that's what we'd do, is probably like a concrete shoulder, kind of like we've done in a lot of our subdivisions.
yeah, and I'm not being rude when I'm saying this, just take this, and I understand, we got some pretty sandy soils there. And it's not like if they did go off the curb to pass each other, or even if they parked in the grass with a trailer and on the side or whatever it may be. And I know that's not the best thing to do, but it's not like we're going to be ripping up because it's going to be muddy, but
No.
but I understand it would be nice to have it wide enough the way it is from the front, but I think it's going to be mostly going to be about cost. We'll do as much as we can do for contribution, just
I appreciate that, Gary. Thank you.
a bit.
So one part that, as I get more brought into this one, which is with some of those grant requirements, we do have to bid it. So anything that is donated or whatever, we got to make sure that's explicit in any bid document. We're not able to just kind of piecemeal parts of this together. So as a village project, this is more than this contractor can do this, and this contractor can do this, and this contractor can do that part for us, and we can build it. We have to bid it per the DNR grant guidelines. So we do need to make sure we know what the site plan final is, and then if there are in-kind donations or contributions, we'll need to spell that out as part of the bid documents.
I don't mean to open Pandora's box here, but was this template used in order to provide handicap access? And the reason I'm raising that point is we have two templates that I think I've used both of them, kayak launches that are existing. Neither looks anything close to this. They're both completely different.
When you say template, you're referring to the two launches that were recently built at Kellyland.
Well, we've got the one on Bobble Lane, right? And then the one down on J. those are our right? And
Yeah, neither one of those are considered ADA compliant, so that was.
that's why I asked,
yeah.
is the reason, if the answer is yes, it was done to make a handicap, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I wanted to understand.
But as far as, Roy, as far as are you talking about the parking lot or just
Just the overall design of the parking for the trailers and the vehicles, like I think the one on Bobble Lane is so slick, it works really well. You know, it doesn't impede traffic, it gives adequate parking, it totally different design, but I can see where if you're trying to get ADA compliant, that.
Yeah, you
that's
want
probably
to try to get it as close to the water as possible.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sure, then that's why I said, okay, then I understand, I move on.
Yeah, and then Schofield is also putting in, and they have a launch at Brooks at the dam down there. And they're modifying that dam to be ADA compliant so that people that get in here actually have a place to get out.
Yep. Understood, thank you.
Anybody have anything more?
I liked your comments about, that the curb, the mountable curb. And I like the idea of having that road be just a little bit wider.
Forgive me for not knowing this, I don't really kayak all that much, but do most people haul a trailer in when they kayak? Or do most people just throw in?
About
the back?
50-50.
You're accurate with that, yeah.
Yeah.
Depends what kind of vehicle you own.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
you get a lot of trailers and you get a lot of people throw them in the back of a pickup truck or whatever.
cause I worry that when I look at that round, and I think you kind of alluded to that too, that it would be tight. I mean, how many vehicles are we expecting we can get in that circle? Before it's full? 2, 3?
I think you probably get 4 or 5. I mean, especially if we keep it wider.
The trailer, you're talking about
2, 3.
30 feet?
You probably get at least 3, maybe. I mean, we can keep it wider all the way through. I'm trying to think, when I used to live over by the Ross one. I mean, maybe you'd see 3 trailers parked there.
Right.
How far away is it from the existing parking, you guys?
It's right in the middle of the 2 parking lots, Gary.
Yeah, so I mean, in that case, true, if somebody wanted to drop off their kayak and, worst case scenario, they had to go park in one of the other lots, that'd be available.
Adequate parking there.
There's adequate parking there with those additional parking areas. I just, if we want to try and keep this thing reasonable,
Right.
I think the single wide road is adequate for most days, and like I say, if it's, I can't imagine who's handicapped who kayaks. I mean, it's difficult enough for me to get into a kayak without.
Well, Joe, you are kind of handicapped.
They get busy.
Yeah.
Because I want to sometimes they come 10, 12, 15 kayak together.
Mhm.
And these are not on the truck, these are on the trailer. They bring it over there, there's nice park. You can park it there, but in here, you're gonna have a problem. And a 12-feet road. Our road is 12 feet, 1 lane.
Yeah.
This is, 2 truck, one coming from this side, one wants to get up. You can. So 20 feet, 10 feet line, I think that's reasonable for it.
Could we?
How far is the other parking lots away, guys? Can somebody help me with how far the other parking lot? I know, Dan, we have to worry about gas. Is there enough over that gas easement or for a light duty vehicle that we could go? Which parking lot could we tie off of one of the other parking lots and just make a circle over there to drop off your kayaks and then park over back in the other 2 parking lots to keep costs down?
We looked at tying the parking lots together, but number one, to the east here is the parking lot that's across the creek to the east. So you not only cross the gas pipeline, but then you cross that drainage way.
Oh,
So you need to put a large culvert in or something to do that. And if you go to the west, then you're gonna be, the only way to go to the west parking lot is you've got some trees and you've got the pavilion over there, and we're just concerned about the safety going past the pavilion. Because there's a lot of, those pavilions are used almost every weekend. So be concerned about mixing too much traffic, near the pavilion.
Could it be something as simple as putting some signage out there? Like if, maybe if you got someone that's gonna kayak and they're gonna do a longer trip, a full day, 8 hours, like, hey, why don't you park your car over in that other lot? But if you got someone that's gonna be there for 3, 4, I don't know. There's no way to police that,
They're gonna
but
take the closest spot no matter what. They're not gonna read the sign.
Hey, Michael, can I ask a question, Michael? And maybe somebody can slap me in the head for this or not, but if we donate a bunch of our equipment time and our trucking or whatever we would do, would the village help out with? And I know you say it's got to go to bid, Michael, but if you're giving half of it away or 3/4 of it away, I don't know how you can't win the bid, but anyway, could the village supply the material to keep costs down from the pit, road base? Recycle?
Yeah, I mean, we have, I guess that's where. As I started talking more with Jess on this last week, and then reading through kind of some of the fine print, I mean, we can do certain things in kind and it's matching grant, so up to, I think it's 96,000, so if the village spends, 48,000, we get 48,000 from the DNR. If we spend 90,000, we get 45,000 from the DNR. So however that works out is fine, but yeah, we do need to be careful of that, so if we have an asphalt price and some concrete and, the dock alone, I think is about $40,000, so. You get above the bidding threshold and then there are requirements and, so.
Help me with this. Is the dock gotta be in part of that bid, or can that be some grants from somebody else that donated or use maybe Dan, that somebody else got some funds that was wanting to throw at it or whatever? Can that be part, or does that have to be part of the project in order to get qualification?
Yeah, I believe that needs to be part of the DNR project, because that was one of the stipulations of the grant application is creating the ADA accessible ramp, so. If we
Okay.
pull that out, now the DNR is no longer funding a ADA accessible launch.
Yeah. And the dock system has got to be part of that, just because of it's a special launch, a dock system, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can comb it any which way you want, because the dock would be, the ADA additions, Gary, is probably worth $15,000 or $20,000 to go from being a regular launch to being an ADA launch, so. We'll have to work with Michael on that.
I'm just trying to think outside the box, how a person can get the best bang for the buck, that's all.
Yep. I appreciate that.
all right, do we, anybody want to take a stab at a motion? Anybody got anything else they'd like to add? I know we talked about a couple of things, the curbing, the recommended language says not to include that, but it sounds like we want to include that. And then we talked about the possibly widening it. I don't know if there's a need for that or not, but.
So I guess I didn't notice it in my review on it, because I thought those guys had looked at it, but our code requires 24 for a 2-way.
Yeah.
So
No,
I guess for me, this looks like.
I haven't actually looked at that version yet.
So
I'll be
it
perfectly
needs to be
honest.
24, at least this portion coming from Northwestern
Yeah.
in
And that can be one lane with the,
around, it can be 12 for one way
Parking on the
traffic.
outside, but then the one way on the inside of the loop.
Yeah.
I have one question, and Michael, maybe you can answer this, or maybe this is a dumb question, but what type of dock system is that?
I don't know.
It's easy dock.
So is that float?
It's going
Yes.
to, there's 2.5-inch tubes that it rides up and down on, and then, so there's like at the edge of the ramp, there'll be like a 1.5-foot high 6x6s.
Yep.
And then a 16-foot ramp that'll go up, a 16-foot walkway that'll go up and down with the dock.
So is that gonna come out every spring and fall? And it won't be in when we get high water, hopefully?
okay, I was just gonna say, I know where you're going with this, because I've seen that river.
It's gonna be 8 feet above river elevation, the top of the posts.
So how are they anchoring those posts in the muck and crap? Just pound them down and,
Yeah, they're with the hydro driver. Yeah, they've used them successfully. All I can do is go by this 82-year-old guy that sells the Easy Dock stuff. So we can get that fixed up and it'll light up and down the poles.
We're gonna have this insured, correct?
Yes.
Like, it'll be down at my house one of these days.
You'll bring it back.
Bring it back.
Found this.
So what is our goal here? I mean, what do we have for a budget and where are we at on our budget versus what, I mean, what are we trying to do here?
The budget's about 96,000, Gary. I mean, 96,000 was the original budget we had, and then, you know, I'm doing the in-kind surveying, MTS provided the engineering, et cetera, it's gonna be at about 105. And then, we have the impact, we have about $40,000 worth of grant money available besides the DNR grant money. So I think that budget's not really that much of a concern. So I think we're in good shape. It's just that, you know, like I was alluding to, you don't want to spend any more money than you have to. You want to be cost conscious as much as possible.
Oh, yeah, but I was just trying to check this with Michael, with how he said it's gotta be bid through the village. Michael, are you able to give?
Well, I think, Gary, I think the purpose of this tonight is to just get I guess we just have to get the plan approved. If you've got, you know, bid questions, I guess that's
No,
something.
no, it's, but that makes a difference in how this is gonna go through and how wide the roads or how extensive you can get. This is gonna be the numbers. Michael, how do you, can you do in kind on that, or that's already predetermined that this will be done by this person?
You
Can you
can
do
do
that in
that,
your
yeah. We can call out certain, you know, it's
Okay,
like,
all
like
right.
on a street
Well,
project, we say
okay.
we provide the base course.
But what about somebody else, like besides the village?
Yeah,
Like,
we can
okay.
say that, you know, that this,
Site work is, don't bid site work, don't bid the,
correct.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, perfect. All right, now I'm fine now. I'll shut up, sorry.
Thank you, Gary.
So curbing, and then it sounds like we have to go, what,
Yeah,
24
it's
feet
gonna be
wide?
24 feet.
I've got one last thing too regarding the parking. The single handicap stall is gonna need to be van accessible.
Roman.
I'm sorry, Roman, could you repeat that? I'm used to seeing you here and I couldn't recognize your voice.
No, sorry. Roman McGuire, is online here. The handicapped parking stall needs to be van accessible. Is my only comment regarding the site.
So how
So we-
wide does that have to be? Do you know?
Well, we don't have measurements on that. There's two options, but initially it can be 11 feet wide with a 5-foot aisle. Or it can be, you know, a smaller aisle or a larger aisle with a smaller stall. So just that it doesn't need to be called out. It just
The hashing where the ramp opens up, are you allowed to use that? I think that was the vision here is the handicap still over here, and you have that hatched out area. Where
yes, you can. So it's just a matter of, you know, if we've got 20 feet there, then we're good. You know, it's just, there's no measurement there. We've got a measurement on the other opposite adjacent stall.
Yep.
So I just want you to be aware that it does need to be a van accessible space since it's the only handicap spot.
And that hashed area, just a question, most of those vans, aren't they open up on the passenger side?
They would have to back into that stall, correct?
Okay,
Most typically.
all right.
Okay.
I mean, you could also move the stall over to the north side though, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the Yellow Banks Park kayak launch plans with the modification that staff determine the road width as per code and also as per ADA compliance and to require curb. Does that cover it?
And also this corner of the curb should be flat. Is everybody gonna go over it?
Mountable curb.
Or mountable curb.
Yeah, that curb in here should be flat, yeah.
Excuse me,
So we have a motion by Mumper and a second by Deason.
is that a question? I missed the last little thing you said when you said the rules per code, ADA compliance, and then what?
And mountable curb.
Movable
Oh, you
curb.
did say multiple.
Well, he just said curb.
I said
Oh,
curb
you
initially.
just said curb, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I
Multiple
just
curb.
didn't hear you, so, okay, thank you.
Just a point of clarification, can it be mountable or can it be ribbon curb or which is proper?
You can do it either curb, but I think then you should make it radius, change the radius. Other than that, all these trailers gonna go over it.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mumper, seconded by Deason on the question. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. That went a little longer than I expected. Okay. Number 7, project number 2025-0151, site plan review for Kennedy Park construction plans of phase 1 BB1 and phase 1 BB2 fields.
So this is on more just for, I guess, so you guys know that this project is starting to happen. They're finally starting to get some of these plans done. The first phase will be those 2 baseball fields, hopefully this summer, correct?
Yeah, it'll be advertised for bid this, starting this Wednesday.
Okay,
Yeah, so there'll be more phases of the project, more fields and some parking and also some changes up in that phase, what is it? I-1H there, so that's the well house and the warming house for the ice skating, so.
yes, that was gonna be one of my questions, phase 1H, what does that encompass?
So that was the hockey pavilion, and then that would cause the
Are we looking at removing some of those buildings?
yeah, that'd be the demo of those buildings with then a new kind of warming house / park shop / well house at that corner.
Okay, so would go from essentially 3 or 4 buildings to 1.
Correct, yeah, I think we have 4 buildings there now, so that those would get consolidated to one structure.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can watch the video.
This is 1H is the hockey corner is a little bit shorter.
So all these phases are kind of dependent on when the fundraising for each portion is available, so.
Mhm. Okay. Anybody have any questions?
I just have a comment that having been previously involved in coaching from Pee Wee all the way up to through Babe Ruth and having worked on building the original Babe Ruth field out there, I think this is an absolutely awesome addition to the community.
Me too. Thank you. Okay, so it looks like we're looking for an approval if there's no other comments, questions, concerns on
I'll
phase
make a
1.
motion to approve.
A motion by Gurnt,
Second.
second by Mumper. On the question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. All right, item number 8, March 2025, staff approved certified survey maps and site plans.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Zagami,
I'll second.
second by Jordan. On the question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Item number 9, March 2025 building permits.
Move to approve as presented.
Second. Nope.
Motion by Deason, second by Hoffman. On the question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Number 10, Planning and Development Department Project Update Report.
All right, I have a report in the packet. I do have an update on number 1 there. We did hire for the assistant zoning administrator slash code enforcement officer just recently. His name is Dustin Gessert, and he will start on the 28th of April. So we're looking forward to bringing him on staff to help us with code enforcement this summer, and then also helping Roman and Travis get through some of the more smaller building permit applications and things like that, so.
How much
Um,
experience?
How much experience? He actually he's got a lot of experience. He was actually a police officer for a good number of years down in Wisconsin Rapids. He's worked in public works. He went from being an officer to working in public works, worked in the sign shop and on the road crew there. He's done some house building, and he's currently the facilities manager at Mid-State Technical College in Point. So he has some facility management too, so that will be helpful with Roman and Travis, because they are basically in charge of all these buildings. So he'll bring a good amount of knowledge and redundancy. So looking forward to having him. And then I just want to point out number 5, just so that you're aware, we did receive a request for vacating a subdivision that was done in the 1960s off of basically kind of around the corner of Alderson and Weston Avenue. So it would be the Ryan family had a subdivision that was put in. The part in Rothschild has been developed. The part in Weston was never done. So there's a north and south horseshoe drive. Because this plat is over 40 years old, there's a different process to go about vacating it. So they have requested the village vacate the street, and then if we do that, we do that by resolution instead of that normal vacation process that kind of goes through, that you guys have been a part of in the past. The resolution will go to the village board on Monday. And basically they take that to the circuit court to get that plat vacated. They own all the lots. It's never been developed. The road's never been done. So it's kind of a unique situation. They have a buyer for the whole, I don't know, it might be 20 acres when it's all put together. Yeah. So it's kind of a unique situation I've never been a part of before being here, but that will potentially be happening over on that end of the village. And then I guess
The northeast corner.
no, it's on the southeast.
Southeast, yep.
Southeast, okay.
It's just, there's like a 20-acre parcel.
Like between, is it between
I can't remember.
Weston, or I'm sorry, Alderson and Birch?
Yeah, it's on that side of
Okay.
Alderson, but south of Weston Ave.
Yeah, right on that corner there.
Okay.
It's a
got
kind
it.
of a low line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of wetlands in there. And I think
Okay.
that's why it was never developed. They did the other part that's in Rothschild. The only other thing that I did not know when I did this, we actually have A&W is actually going to go into the Fuzzies taco. We're working on a site plan review right now with them, and they've got their zoning permit.
What
So
is actually gonna happen?
I actually did the assessment letter for it today, so, yeah.
That's good. I just hope that, I'm gonna cross my fingers that it seems like everything that goes in there goes out. So let's hope like heck they can make a good run at it.
Yeah, they want to put a double drive-through. That's the only part I'm not sure is gonna work. They didn't have very good plans, so we're just waiting to get some information back on that. But we have a building permit for the interior work already.
Excellent, excellent.
Well, if there's any concerns there, don't hesitate to bring it here. We want to be good partners,
Okay,
so.
yeah, I just need some better, because not sure where they're adding it based off of the plans that they gave, so.
Sure, okay. I have a quick question. One thing I noticed when I was looking through, some of these things, there's a lot of, like the last sentence on these inspections needs to follow up on this.
Yeah.
Can we try to get some of that ironed out in the next month or two here?
Yeah,
please?
so a lot of it is basically closing out for landscaping and things like that. There's a lot of that. And then just because we've been so busy with the new construction, so having Dustin on staff will help alleviate some of that, I think, too.
Okay.
So Travis can get back into some of those.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to beat anybody up.
No.
It was kind of a
Yeah, those
redundant
are-
thing that I
it's-
saw in here a lot.
I
so
kind of use this as my follow-up so that I know what needs to get done. It typically takes things that were like approved. It's usually a 2-year process for people to get everything closed out, just because of depending on how fast they are with their outside work.
Jen, do you keep honey-do lists like that for your husband that big?
Sometimes, yes.
Steve, if I can comment on that real quick as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's definitely gonna have having Dustin on staff is gonna be great, but if you look at the permits that were approved in the month of March, that's one of our largest new home months, probably since I've been here. So, the valuation that we added this first quarter has been extremely impressive. We're almost at our total for last year already. So, and we've got, obviously, there's a lot of stuff still in the works for the rest of the year. So, but yeah,
Roman, where are most of those coming from, Roman? Is that Heath's nephews or who's doing that?
Well, yeah, Heath had some wrapping up in some of the final stuff that he's doing was approved in January. A lot from the Green Tree subdivision.
Okay.
And then we've probably seen, I think, 4 from Arrowhead Estates already, with probably 4 more coming in this year. So we're actually getting I think this is going to be our highest custom home total we've had since 19. So
it's great to hear.
Yeah, no, a ton of square footage and a ton of valuation. So, over 4 million in valuation just in new home permits.
That's impressive. So it sounded like just an update, not that I want to stick my nose into that, but I just heard through the grapevine that Heath wanted to sell everything he had in Weston and he was trying to trade it with his nephews to build. So his nephew is trading.
Yeah, Joey and Alex bought the remaining lots in Hinter Springs in March. They closed on those.
Yeah.
They have 4 in the ground already. But at the end of the month, those had not been even approved yet. So those were, I think, just under early starts. So, those will be on April's list, which is still going to be pretty large as well. So, and then they're actually going to tackle the remaining 3 or 4 of the 4-unit buildings that are down there as well.
Well, maybe that's a good start. There's a lot more positivity in the market right now too. I think a lot of people were sitting unknowing what to do in the last year here. So that's really reassuring to hear that.
Absolutely. I mean, seeing that, what we've got in Arrowhead, there's some upper 6-figure homes and some 7-figure homes in there. So some big stuff that's going in out there.
People still want to build here. And I totally get, that's fantastic that we've got big numbers like that. My point wasn't in jest at all, Roman. It was just, I hear a lot and my hope was just try to clean it up if we can. I completely understand that we've got a lot of things going on and you should absolutely take care of those. We can't chase everybody down, right? So.
Correct.
And the ones you can and move on.
Yeah, and I totally didn't take it that way. Don't worry about that, Steve. So, and we do have trailer park inspections coming up in May though. So we'll see how much we can get done to the next plan commission meeting.
I think that's your favorite thing to do besides going to the dentist, right?
Fortunately, I got a Travis and a Dustin now, so.
Yeah, Roman doesn't have to go anymore.
One more quick question. Ryan Street storage units, did they revise their plan again to include less units? I saw a comment in here. Or is it still the status quo from November?
Martin Street is the same. He just
Okay.
issued some occupancy.
Yeah, I issued the
It just says he's
first floor
revised the
building.
site plan to include a smaller project, so I didn't know if he.
Oh, that was from the last
Scale,
time. I just
okay,
didn't
that's
change
fine.
it.
I just wanted clarification, so.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my notes on the project.
Okay.
No, it hasn't been changed since he was here the last time.
I'll talk to you now. Anybody else got anything? Great. Hearing none. Announcements and committee commissioner remarks. Dave, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
Nothing.
Nada.
I'm good. You're good? Okay.
Good.
Well, Husheng, thank you for everything.
Yep. Well, thank you very much.
Been a pleasure.
That's my last.
Husheng, you're not gonna be on the planning no more?
Oh,
Going into the kayak launching business.
there we go. There we
Oh,
go.
okay, well, I'll have to come see you down there when I launch my kayak.
All right.
Maybe when I retire or something, I got some time.
We stopped in his backyard one day.
Yeah, that's right.
He had to poke a hole in his canoe, so.
It was an emergency stop.
I thought he said you shot an arrow through it or something, Husheng.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you for all your service, Husheng. We appreciate everything for the community.
Sure.
All right, I don't have anything. Next regular meeting date, Monday, May 12th, 2025 at 6 p.m. We don't have any specials for anything coming up. I know there was a couple for public works, but we don't have any.
Special? No, not yet.
Okay. Future agenda items or staff referrals. Anybody have anything they'd like to get added to an agenda? No?
I guess I would just like to make a comment. I got to listen a little bit about the last situation, the tail of that meeting, which something needs to come to a head there with that whole situation. And I'm just happy that somebody brought a couple of the members brought something up there. Cause that's just really wasted a lot of our staff's time and a lot of negativity and it's just sad to see what that's brought. So hopefully we can get that cleaned up, I guess.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Please. Second.
Motion by Deason, second by Mumper. On the question, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Bye.
Opposed? So carried. We are adjourned 7:18 p.m.